Movie, sword, and knife, or dagger training. Tip 1. What are some cinematic grips, postures, and stances to use with the movie short sword and knife or dagger? That's what we'll answer in today's video. Hi, my name is Dylan Wilson with CBT Stunt Alliance. Train hard, perform easy. We help actors, stunt performers, filmmakers, and content creators learn professional stunt training for use in film, TV, and live action performances. Before we get underway, if you're interested in adding baton, short sword, sword and dagger, even sword and shield movie fight choreography to your current acting or stunt performer skill set, check out our highly popular online master course at shortswordmoviefighting.com. You can learn attacking angles, sword fight choreography, sword and dagger, sword and large shield, even how to market your career. You can sign up now and start training now. Go to shortswordmoviefighting.com for more info. Okay, so we get a lot of questions about movie baton and short sword fighting tips. So we're going to share a few things with you. Now, I'm actually an experienced stunt coordinator and full-time director. This is something I plan to do from the beginning of my career, up to and including even attending and graduating film school as a director. Now, along my journey, I learned that being a stunt coordinator made me a better director, and being a director made me a better stunt coordinator. And what this means to you is that I can offer insights and experience from both sides of the camera, as well as all phases of production. When we thought about what would help you the most, we decided to put together this free video course that will cover the basics of movie baton and short sword movie fighting techniques. This way you can use it for your real, upcoming auditions, and even your own content. For actual performances and highly competitive auditions, you need more training like we provide in our highly popular online master course. Why does this work? Because for self-tapes, many sword auditions, mocap, and performances, you just have to look like you know how to use a movie baton or short sword. If you're not the lead or featured fighter, you're going to throw anywhere from 0 to 2 strikes, and then you're killed anyway. Check out this following clip to see this in action. Now, how many strikes did each performer get to throw in that action sequence? Exactly. So in this video, we're going to cover some cinematic grips, postures, and stances to use with a movie short sword and knife or dagger. All right, in this instructional, we're going to cover dual wielding, the sword and the knife, right? So dual wielding in a nutshell is any time that you're using 2 weapons. People don't consider sword and shield dual wielding, even though it is actually, because your shield is an offensive weapon, as you learned in previous instructionals. Yet, and that actually sets the foundation for this. So that's why we teach sword and shield first before we teach sword and knife. Now here's the thing to understand. It could be any weapons pairing. It could be, a sword and a club, or a sword and a baton. It could be 2 knives, it could be 2 swords. All those are considered to be dual wielding. The things that we're going to show you are going to work. It doesn't matter what you pick up. That's the great thing about the actual CBT. It's modular. It doesn't matter the culture of the weapon. You pick up 2 swords, 2 knives, you'll be able to do the same things you're going to learn in this class for sword and knife. The key thing to understand is that your brain has to first learn how to use 2 weapons simultaneously. And sometimes the weapons will be doing performing the same task, and sometimes they're doing 2 different things, right? And so in the beginning, that's the part that's usually confusing for a lot of beginners. And it doesn't matter. A person could be in a martial arts for 20+ years. If they've never done this type of stuff before, they are starting over. It's something that you have to actually practice. If you get good at it, you're going to quickly build a reputation for yourself. If you're, when you demonstrate, and especially in your auditions. So first, we're going to cover the postures and stances. Now, again, in the main system CBT, we have, I think, like 7. There's like 7 different postures and stances, as we mentioned before. Yet for theatrical CBT, we pretty much teach 2. And we choose the two that are the most cinematic. The first one is always going to be natural posture. So a natural posture is just like natural posture, you know, with empty hand, or natural posture that you learned before with the club. You have the sword here on your center line. The sword is pointing to your opponent's larynx, or their throat, right? That's not a big deal. Yet here's the thing that's different. The knife. So the knife is here at hip height too, just like if you were here in natural posture, your hands would kind of rotate out. With the knife, the edge of the knife is directly above the sword. So there's no space between it. This is one of our key positions. From the side, you see the camera loves that, right? It looks really good. Yet that's one of the correct positions. There's a variation where we also can let the knife kind of drift off like this to the side, yet the tip points towards the tip of the sword. So there's always that pyramid in there. So there's never space that an opponent, like if you do like this, the opponent could be really quick at their thrust and stab you. So it's either here on top of the sword, or here on top of the sword, or here to the side. You see how I kind of just rotate my wrist down like that? I'll show you from here, or there. And even when it's there, it points to the tip of the sword. So that's natural posture. For the most part, when you're doing this, you're most likely going to be doing choreography in this position, in natural posture. It could be up here, it could be down here, either one, all right? Again, switching leads, you know, we switch leads the same way. Just like I just did. Boom, boom. Switching leads. Again, with natural posture, the sword can be down, right? Or up. It's still natural posture, just at letting the point of the sword point to the earth. So that's the main one that you're going to be using a lot. The second one is just like the one we taught you with large shield and sword. So much stuff to remember, these titles and verbiage. I can just show you much more easily. Yet it's called a side posture variation. And just like with the shield, where we put one hand here, we put the sword on top of it, we're going to do the same thing with the knife. So the knife is here and the sword is right there on top of it. See that? That's how it looks. So it's very cinematic. If I'm doing it in the other hand, and the director may like this and actually do an orbit, kind of like what we just did, because it's, especially if you have a nice looking sword and a nice looking knife, you know, it looks really good. They'll get all kinds of coverage on you doing this type of stuff. Even if you're putting your own reel together, get all kinds of coverage of the sword, the knife, the person's eyes, their facial expressions and everything. Because it's not a posture that most people are used to seeing, especially with a sword and knife. Virtually no movie has sword and knife in it because most people don't know how to use it. Even the stunt coordinators don't know how to do it, okay? And so when you do that, you suddenly have a weapon that adds a lot of production value to a project. So if you know all types of cool positions to be in when you're fighting, you know, you're from here and you're here, you know, it makes a world of difference. Yet this posture is usually what we use when we break off an attack. So if we're here, you know, and we just came in, boom, boom, right? And then we break off an attack, we might be here. Or we're here, boom, boom, and we'll break off the attack and come out in natural posture. From the side, I just did an 8 and 11 and broke off the attack. Or I did 8 and 11 and broke off the attack. And you see each way is cinematic. It looks good and you can tell a person is skilled. And again, these are why we teach both of these methods. So one last thing, rewind this video and watch my footwork. Again, my body's the same with natural posture, just like you learned in the previous instructional. Yeah, it's just subtle differences with the hands, right? So stop the video now and give this a try. Broken down step by step to ensure that you learn it both easily and quickly. Lastly, we're going to share a few pro tips with you. Yeah, before we do, check this out.
Okay, someone suggested that we give like a quick 2-minute overview of what is in the master course. And that's what we're going to do. So this is, you can take the full video tour and see a complete breakdown of what's in this master course by heading on over to our website. There's a 15-20 minute video. You can go inside to see everything. Yet, I mean, this is everything in here. It covers, you know, short sword, machete, baton, large sword and shield, dual wielding, everything you need to know to use martial arts weapons for film and TV is covered in the course. All the basics and even advanced stuff. You have over almost 100 videos, instructionals in here. Each of these is an instructional about 10 minutes long. We keep them about 10 minutes so they're bite size. You can easily learn it, easily fit it to your schedule. Some are a bit longer because they have to be, for the most part, about 10 minutes long. Look at all the things that you're learning. 15 attacking angles with the sword, postures, stances, leads, grips, everything that you need to know to be proficient with it when you're learning. Let's take a look at one of the instructionals now. Now this is, again, one of the counterattacks. So we're going to take a look at this now. One of the basics on how to actually counterattack. You know, and it's taught to you very slowly, so you learn exactly what to do. You can do this by yourself in the air or with a partner. Either way is fine. And you actually become pretty good with this stuff. But let's look at some of the other things. You learn more counterattacks. You learn how to use, you actually see this stuff used in what are live action video displays, movie clips and things, how to do dramatic circling, pro screen tips, right? The military police Baton clinic, if you have to play the role of a police officer, military police, we teach you how to act it out and what to do. Check this out.
Right into my right kidney and grab there. And he's going to escort me while he delivers the dialogue. Alright, that's enough out of you. Now clear the area now. Let's go back up.
Alright, and the training shows you how to perform it safely for both you and your partner, even how to perform realistic dialogue, because that's how you're actually going to be performing it for film and TV. You know, all types of stuff. One of the other cool things is that you need to see how this goes from when you're learning to when it's going to go to the final cut. So we include live action video displays, right? These are actual clips from movies and TV shows that show you exactly how it will look at the end. So we'll take a look at one now. This is actually from the movie Eliminators. We actually see a Baton in action. And you see how the fight scenes look. You get a feel for how production is going to shoot it. This is obviously done with a handheld technique. When you're shooting it, you see how the camera angle is going to work. You see how the blocking is going to be. So as you're learning this stuff, this is professional caliber training, so that you know exactly what it's going to look like and what you need to do for camera as you're learning this stuff. So again, you take the full video tour at our website. Again, there's all types of choreography that you learn, you know, with the machete, the baton, everything else, how to use the training with other weapons, the cinematic golden moment shortcut, you know, pro fight choreographer's template, how to make your own training partner. If you have no one to work out with, you know, we show you how to make a training partner you can train with. All gladiatorial combat, so how to do all the Spartacus and the large sword and shield, or large shield and sword type stuff, all the basics of choreography, the sword and knife or dagger. This is all dual wielding stuff. So whenever you're using two weapons, you get a role that calls for using two swords, two knives, a knife and a sword, a knife and some exotic weapon. This trains you in how to do all of that stuff, right? So everything you could possibly need. And finishing up, the stuff for your action reel. You need to have stuff to put in your reel. Well, there's almost 40 techniques that we show you and we include on that. You can learn it and actually put together a reel. And we even show you our amazing reel formula, so you actually can design your reel based on this formula, and it will help you book roles. Let's take a look at one of the techniques now. All right, this shows again step by step what to do. And you see that there's an explanation that teaches you all the stuff before this. Yet you see we teach it to you, we do it very, very slowly, not lightning fast so you can't see what's going on. Very slowly so you can observe the footwork, the arm placement, you know, how it should look, you know, how your body should look and everything. So there's never any mystery on how to do it. You get multiple angles, as well as you get support from us any time when you're learning it. And that's not all, there's even more. We teach you how to market your career, you know, different things you can do, even help you get a certification and everything. So if you're interested in learning more, head on over to our website and take the full video tour. You're absolutely going to love it.
So if any of the topics that we covered are of interest to you, definitely head on over to our website and take the free video tour. Now we'll share a pro tip with you. Pro tip: practice throwing a basic strike and then finishing in one of the postures that we showed you. Now, why would you do this? Because what it does is it teaches you to naturally always finish up in an offensive or defensive posture after each engagement. Also, your body develops that muscle memory so that it knows how to go into those postures without you thinking about it. You just naturally flow into it. Plus, you'll also pick up the footwork a lot better as well. So we'll demonstrate a few of these. So imagine we're here, we do an angle 8, and then we finish up in a posture. You know, we're here, we do an angle 11, and we finish up in this posture, right? On the other side, switch leads, we're gonna do an angle 13, and we finish up in this posture. We'll do a combination, do a 5 and a 1. We're gonna do a 5 and a 1, and finish up in this posture. And so if you observe, and we'll do some with the shield too. You see the same exact thing, right? We're here, facing camera. Give you the profile view, right? Doesn't matter how you do it. Angle 8, 9, 10, 11. And you see how that looks? So you can tell I've done this before, and I look very natural with it. Yeah, guess what? I could have just learned this yesterday. You don't know how long I've been training, yet the perception is that I've been doing it for a long time. Yet these shortcuts, these hacks that we're sharing with you, performance hacks is what we call them, help you to look like you've been doing it for a lot longer, even if you just learned it an hour ago, right? So practicing these little movements like this are what tell the audience could be, the end viewer, it could be a director, it could be a stunt coordinator, it could be a fight choreographer. They tell the audience that you're skilled. And it's because with these subtle things. So just remember, ultimately all this does is ensure that you look better with movie, baton, and short sword fight choreography for the camera. So after each strike, flow into one of the postures that we showed you with each of the weapon pairings. All right, make sure you like this video and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next training video. Also, make sure you sign up for our Pro Stunt Tips email newsletter to get professional movie, baton, and short sword fighting tips in your inbox. Lastly, if you'd like more information about our highly popular online movie, baton, and short sword fighting master course, go to shortswordmoviefighting.com or click on the link below this video. Again, my name is Dylan Wilson with CBT Stunt Alliance. Train hard, perform easy. Don't miss our next video when we share with you another movie, baton, and short sword fighting tip. See you next video.